welcome
Have a great match, and you may
to
like
the
for
CueSports International Expo being hosted at the Rio All Suites Hotel and Casino. This is the only WPA sanctioned World Championship to take place in America. The 64-player field is based on invites and WPA rankings. This is a $100,000 added Predator World 10-Ball Championship presented by CueSports International and sponsored by Predator. This will be a race to 8, double elimination in the first stage and a race to 10 for the final 16 in the second. Alternating breaks, Jeremy Jones in the booth and myself, JUSZCZYSZYN, bringing you the live action.
It should be one heck of a match. These two, I'm not sure what the match record is, but I'm sure they have double digits matches against each other. Both play on the Euro Tour and always trying to make that Mosconi Cup team. RUIZ has been in there a few times. Actually, Conrad has been in the discussion when it comes to the rankings a few times. So.
This is Francisco Sanchez Reese and Conrad JUSZCZYSZYN. Practice for half an hour getting that one right.
Yeah, it was worth it, I think, George. And we talked about RUIZ a few days ago on one of the outer tables while we were doing this match. He's a great player who's got some Euro wins. Still looking for that big win, though, you could say, that international win with a field like this.
You know, one of the things about this young man here is his Fargo's been coming up, so he's been steadily improving. His results have shown it as that comes up. Francisco Sanchez Reese, he goes by Sanchez.
Yeah, he's got a nice shot there. Good starter on the one. He had an easy shot, but position, he maneuvered through those balls and a couple rails out for the two. But he's a guy that, you know, sometimes is overlooked. Not by the ones that know him, of course, but as you go through the tournament chart, you may not just put an asterisk next to his name all the time saying, hey, this is one of the guys to beat, but it certainly is. I can't remember exactly. I don't think he made the semifinals. He may have made the semifinals of the last U.S. Open at the Mandalay Bay, but I know he was at least a quarterfinalist. He's making a run at that tournament.
Well, he's making his run at this rack.
Yeah, he's gotten a little on the rail. I think he has a choice to either really lightly make it and hold for the side or roll past for the corner. Yeah, that's what I thought he had right there. Getting a little thinner on the 5, but a smart choice. He moves around with David Alcade.
Yes, they're both from Spain. David's been coming over here a long time for the BCA World Championships, which is part of the CueSports International Expo.
Yeah, he actually played on the league side of things
for a long time,
actually,
years.
While we had the BCA Pro Invitational alongside this event for a long time. One of the best events I thought we ever had. The field was always great. Another tournament that was by invitation. He crept into position there, but he was all until those last couple inches. He was going to have to move the cue ball up table and back down. But now he's perfect. And it's weird. How many breaking runs have we seen to start this the matches here today?
Almost every one.
Every one of them, right?
Almost every one of them.
It gets slowed down, right, afterwards.
And then it's funny that they don't break right or things start happening, but they come in with a break and run. They like to open.
Well, that bag has been worth something, that's for sure. Cue ball a little
It's
hot.
a little
here.
hot there, yeah.
If he lands on the rail on the 50, this could be real problems, and it is.
Yeah. Got a little excited with that shot.
Yeah, not only pocketing the ball because he's on the rail. Not sure he can play for the side.
I think he has to cut it back to the corner and come 2 rails for shape on the 10.
Go ahead, George.
And the ball's going to be a little hot coming off those bottom 2 rails.
Yeah, this is the one trying to hold the ball. You can get a little kick on it and hit it thick. Oh, he's not even trying it.
Oh.
He didn't even attempt that.
Look at his speed on this cue ball.
Yeah, nice shot there, but Conrad, I tell you, he's very happy to be at the table.
Conrad JUSZCZYSZYN.
Now this is where, you know, you make a choice. He looked like he was going for the jump cue at first. I like the kick shot myself. You know, if we were playing, you don't have to call it. I it's a little different, but I think you kick safe a little more often than you jump bank this ball in.
Yeah, he's called it in the side pocket, so he's 2-rail kicking it.
Come across it.
Oh, he hit it beautifully for the corner.
He was trying to get underneath that ball. I'll tell you what, that ball had rested on the rail, which it ain't far from the rail. This got a little funny as well. And the reason being is you want to use the rail to move the cue ball if you elevate here, right? Okay, so now a little miss hit on the one, little let up on the stroke could get in the side pocket with the cue ball. He made sure that wouldn't happen.
See, I kind of like that rail first.
Yeah,
Comes just
from the middle of the table. That's yeah.
Because that ball almost comes just a little long of the side pocket, and if your speed's good, you just don't lay it on the rail.
So
Sanchez takes the first game.
that's right.
Spain and Poland meet in the arena. A 29-year-old Spanish player and a 27-year-old Polish player. And as Jeremy said earlier, he more than likely at one time, or still is, one of the better Polish players that come over from there. There's like 7 or 8 of them now, isn't there, Jim?
There's quite a few. We're missing a few here this trip that we normally see, but Conrad was the top-rated Polish player for a few years. I'm not sure if he is anymore, just because they have so many coming up from the country. But
well, this is a race to 8, and it's alternate break. There's a 30-second shot clock, 30-second extension. 10 ball does not count on the break. 10 ball does not count. No early 10 balls. WPA rules.
If somebody happens to pocket a 5-10 combo, of course they got to call it. The 5 would be spotted. Keep shooting from there. Excuse me. Man, he didn't hit those very hard. He hit them nice and square, but man, what good action he got.
Especially with his new cloth, and you know the balls are clean and stuff. I think that's what it takes. It's just a solid stroke and hitting them just real square, like you say.
Yeah, he got the correct movement on all those balls. He's got to knock this in and go 1, 2, 3 rails back over. He wouldn't ease this one. The problem with this is cue ball could fall and get into like the 7 a little bit with this new fill. Oh, he got it way up above it. Of course, he caught it a little thick to the pocket, which helped.
Probably come between the 10 and the 4, for the 4 ball in the same pocket.
Guy gets comfortable coasting that cue ball into position on this table right here is the one that's going to have the advantage. It's playing pretty slick.
Yeah, it is, and it's going to be a huge advantage because the ball's moving so nice that it's just a matter of, as you said, coasting it into position. You don't have to power it in. It's so pretty to watch a game when it's done like that.
Yeah, and that's what our equipment these days leads towards.
Thin cut.
Yeah, pretty natural to get past the side though, so that's comforting. You can go the second rail with no problem. The 8's near the 10s. Barring a miscue or something I can't foresee. Conrad's going to tie this match at 1 apiece.
That's SANCHEZ RUIZ is a Predator sponsored player. And I believe Conrad is, let me check before I say that. There's 2.
Looks like it.
Yes.
Captured very good speed on this table early.
Left-hander.
Oh yeah. Perfect on the 10. 1-1.
break the balls. Tied at 1. He won the lag, so he'll be breaking the balls first anytime the score is tied. And these diamond 9-foot tables covered in Predator Arcadia Reserve Cloth. You'll get to see the arena lights, the Predator arena lights on the balls when they get a close-up of them. You see the reflection. And the balls you'll be looking at are the Predator Arcos II. The 5-ball went straight for the pocket, but not quite. Gonna have the 3-ball went in the corner.
And he's got a pretty good starter on the 1, a little off angle to move the cue ball easily, but shouldn't be a problem. And I tell you, Ruiz is not backing off at all on the break, really unloading. See the 6-ball's a little funny over there on the side rail above the side pocket. Shouldn't be too much of an issue later, but something to be concerned of. I think the main concern is getting from the 2 to the 4 here, and what he can do on the 1 to get that position to get from the 2 to the 4. Players get 60 seconds after the break.
Comes a little more. He's got a natural angle to get on the 4.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
He just indicated he wants to come in about the first diamond above the corner pocket or end up there.
Yeah, the 4 is a little off the rail, so you can play a lot of shots to move the cue ball off the rail there, shooting the 4. Really still the 5 to the 6 in my opinion. Happened to get funny and had to play from underneath the 6. The 6-9 combo is not bad at all. The 9 is so close to the pocket, probably double kiss in or just go cleanly in. Still rather stay away from that.
Well, having the 5-ball kind of even with it allows him the upper part of the table to get on the 6. See how he ends up here. Is he going to come right between the 7-8?
I thought he'd play from the corner maybe.
Okay.
And just no danger there, right? And it still leads you naturally over for the 6.
Yeah, actually that path to the 6-ball is ideal.
And the good thing for Ruiz is the 7 is out. So if he happens to fall a little straight on the 6, he can come down from the side. That's exactly what he's done. Perfect, really.
I was going to ask what the initials on his back are, but those are his initials. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. FSR. And he's looking good through this rack. Now it's just a matter of really getting good from the 9 to the 10.
The only player from Spain to ever play on the Mosconi Cup team that I can recall anyway. But mainly in the last 10 years be either Ruiz or Arcadi.
This young man would probably be a good addition to it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a fighter. I mean, he plays hard, puts in a lot of effort every shot. Still a guy that's looking to improve as well, which you want all the greats on the Mosconi Cup teams for America and Europe, but you also want guys that are still grinding on trying to get better.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a huge thing there. That mentality leads well to do well in the Mosconi Cup. 2-1.
These guys just are kind of like eyeing each other, sizing each other up still. You can see they're both intent on watching the other player as he moves through the rack. And like you say, they watch the cue ball to see what it does.
Yeah, it kind of always kept me focused and really in kind of a trance with the cue ball, which is what you want, the table and the cue ball. No mistakes really besides a positional error by Ruiz getting on top of that 8-ball. In game number 1 where you had to play a safety behind it. Other than that, it was a break and run by Conrad and then a break and run by Ruiz. Pretty stellar pull so far.
Let's watch this break. If it opens up like the others have, might see it again.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to change anything. I think the speed control on the break was very intended on the last, or the speed he delivered, let's say that. A little
Changed.
more.
Yeah, he put into
more
that
into
one.
that.
I sure did.
Didn't quite get the hit on the one that he did in the first game. Has made balls though. Gotta like that.
5-ball ended up to where it's a big pocket for itself, but
Yeah.
1 ball pushing it in.
I wonder what kind of decision he'll make here, because cue ball's going towards the side a little bit if he plays the 1-5. The 1 could get away from him if he plays the 1-5. He's not going to miss the 1-5 though, whereas if he takes the 1 in the side, he either has to roll it or put some speed on, into it to get the cue ball to escape a little bit, maybe through that path he's looking at now. So I think he's taking on the 1 on the side, George.
That's what it looks like.
A straight high ball. I think he makes it bounce a little bit, goes between the 10-9, and he was looking at 2 rails towards the 7, I think, something like that.
No, it did not open.
He gambled and did not come away what he wanted. I'm looking at the jump shot. It's got a swerve shot he can play.
And the reason for him shooting the side pocket is, as you say, the cue ball was going to lean go right for the side pocket.
On the
You
combo,
think?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
think
then
that was
also
part of it, but losing the 1 ball.
Yeah, and that was the other part of
I think
it.
that was more. The 5 sat so well, he could have manipulated around scratching in the side. He could have cheated the pocket, used the rail on the 1 to the 5, something like that.
So it was a matter of controlling the 1.
I think so.
Yeah.
And the 1 in the side obviously wasn't too bad. It wasn't like a terrible shot. Well, speaking of that 5 ball, I think that's going to come into play here in a moment, even though he's up in what we call the trees with the cue ball over the floor.
He's up against it.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, he can't just roll this. He may get behind the 6. He's got to put a little speed into this, George.
And from where he is, almost 9 feet away,
Yeah. Well, it's
elevated.
It's caddy corner, so it probably is close to 9 feet. A little further going that way than it is straight from rail to rail.
they are on the 30-second shot clock, 30-second extension.
And I was going to say, from that distance, I wouldn't have been surprised if he actually missed the combination, just because he was so elevated over the floor. Any timing's off, you miss it the cue ball by like 1/8 of a tip, it curves on you because you're elevated. So, gotta shoot at this though, I think. And this is one thing that Conrad will fool you. He's like a lot of Euros, pretty good with the cue ball, but he can knock the ball in pretty well also. Gonna get a roll here. I think Ruiz takes on the kick here. He's looking at the jump view, but I think once he looks again, the cross-side kick with the 8 there isn't too bad. You know what I mean, George?
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's going to give up on the jump and just go ahead and kick it in with his jump cue. He's not going to go back for no. He's going to kick it. No, he's going to run back. He's going to have to use his extension.
Well, I don't like him using the extension anyways. Maybe get after it because he's going to want to measure this a little bit, however he does that. But this speed, to me, looks like he doesn't have to blast this. You don't want to anyways. You can't fluke it in another corner, but a little above medium, he may get some type of leave a tough shot if he misses. He's elevating for some reason.
Well, he colored that line pretty good. He drew it out in his mind and full speed. Used the big pocket off the 8.
Well, I think even if the 8 wasn't there, I think that was a better play than the jump. The jump was tough. All right, probably just kind of cheats the pocket on the 5. I wouldn't try to move to the good side of the 6 here. I'm staying short side, I think, especially with the 7 pretty handy near the right side pocket. Just cheat the pocket there and pulled it off. Got the cue ball off the rail. Light little stun right here. I wouldn't draw this 2 rows behind me, just 1 row up. Flinched a little there, though. Did you see it? Yeah. You're always worried about it kind of going off a little bit, so you kind of control it. There's nothing wrong with that. Short shot.
He'll just probably leave the cue ball right about where the 7 is, straight in for the 8 in the opposite corner.
You may drag this in, go with maybe a cue ball with forward, and stun it. A little more with the cue ball with. He's okay then.
That's why I kind of want to be straight in on this ball, so just stop it there for the 9. And then get to the 10. Now he's got to travel a little.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what he wanted on the initially. So I wouldn't come back. I thought he could easily get past the side with a high ball. But again, these guys are at the table. Gotta go a little. So our first tester. Crucial moment at 2-1 here. Early. Race to 8. Alternate break.
Looks like he's playing on the side. I'd be surprised.
Just wanting to cue the cue ball with low. That's a preference thing. You know, some people, I like the high ball right there myself, coming across the 10 ball with the cue ball.
Sanchez RUIZ to break the balls here, leading 3 games to 1 over Konrad JUSZCZYSZYN. Cue ball. 7 ball down.
Yeah, he's got a good shot on the one on the side, but it doesn't appear to me he can do much with the cue ball, so we may see an early 210, and that doesn't count actually. So I don't know where he's going with this, George, as far as position.
You know, I'm looking right down at it, and it looks like he might. You know, it's delicate in the side pocket, so he can't afford to really, you know, stun it over for the two. Let's see if he can. This cloth moves the ball well, so
Yeah.
look, you might have to settle for a pretty severe back cut on the two ball.
Yeah, you could draw the cue ball back and get more of that cut. Coming sideways with it, he could get a little out of it, but not more. He could just ice this one ball and play a safety on the two. Maybe cut the two and run the cue ball back up by the 3 and 9. He's hitting a high ball now. Looks like he's playing safety on the one. You don't even want to deal with that.
Well, he's up the jump shot, but jump to what?
Yeah, I think this would be a kick of some sort.
Oh, I see what he just measured. He's the kick shot from the bottom rail. Instead of trying to kick it in, he's kicking it out into traffic. Very, very well done.
Crafty. He's going to measure this 4 ball. It looks like if he kicks to the bottom rail, he can throw the 4 right on in.
Back to the jump cue. No, he's not. He's just looking, trying to figure out what he wants to do.
I think it's going to be the 4 ball. He's going to kick off this bottom rail, an extension. If he cuts it at all, he won't make it, but if he comes right into it fully off this bottom cushion, he may even overthrow this. Center, kick down on it a little. Needs a little. Yeah, he got it too thin on the top side. He can catch a little heavier on the ball.
It's going to come out okay. He's left the ball. Let's see it. Oh, I don't know about that.
Little piece of it. Doesn't have a piece of this. This is really tough. He's going to get a kick to the side rail by the 4. Come to the end rail and underneath this one.
Maybe a little swerve.
Yeah, but man, if you're trying to.
Yeah, he's 9 feet away from it, so yeah.
Yeah, the 10's way down there to be swerving very accurately. I wonder if he just tries to really just. Well, he can get out of it.
Yeah, looks like
Trying to just play the 1 behind the 10. That's a great containing shot. He wanted to get the snooker, but if you keep him off the offensive shot right there, you've done your job pretty much.
And he measured the speed of the object fall pretty well there.
He's looking to see if the 1 goes. Otherwise, he'd bank the 1 underneath the 5-2 and go up table with the cue ball, I think. He's playing the 1. It's a lot of movement, a lot of body movement. It's a couple times now where he's kind of moved a lot on the shot.
Does this cue ball go into the 3 if he cuts it in?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think it just barely gets by.
Yeah, you just got to make it come around. The 3-4 kiss shot is definitely playable. It's got a go for the side pocket, 1 of the 2. Lucky for him, it didn't quite freeze on the rail, so he can do a little something to the cue ball here. I think he goes, oh, I don't think he had to elevate. I thought he could level out with just a hair of left English and go by the 8, no problem. He's playing a 2-4 combo.
Conrad looking good through this rack.
He stunned that on a perfect line up towards the 5. Easy 8 ball on the side. I have some choices on the 9, but probably the opposite side pocket. Corner. So he's just going to pinch this back. No reason to go to the rail with top and side and play for the corner. You always just stop your ball.
Well, just this ball here to close the gap a little bit. Some of the outer scores on the outer tables. We got Corey Gould over Adwadi, Brancachi over Syed, Ian Costello trailing Aloysius Lap, Yap 1-3, Ralph Souquet over Miško Fortunski 4-1, Majid over Lombardo 4-0, Moza over Shaw 2-1, and Kiampo and Chinahov tied at 2.
I guess Fortunski came in just for the World 10 ball. I didn't see him in the diamond, or maybe I missed him, but I certainly didn't see him. He's a guy I usually try to watch play.
Yeah, he's a heck of a player. I was super impressed the first time I saw him play. No, he played.
Okay.
Just didn't do well. But he played in the Diamond Las Vegas. Conrad's break.
Missed those a little bit. Speed a little lighter, more like the first rack. Oh, the 10's going to get right in the way.
Can you get to the rail and draw it back under the 10?
Yeah, it's a possibility. May put the 1 into some congestion. He's going to call it. I don't think he's going to try to make it, though. I think he's going to shoot that shot you're talking about. You got to be committed to hitting it slowly. Oh, he's made it.
Ouch.
Oh, even maybe worse than not making it, even though it's deep.
He's left a shot. This is an alternate break format.
Well, there's not much to measure here on this one ball. He's got to elevate the cue, it looks like to me. He can maybe go into the left point with right English and catch some of the 1 coming out. But anytime you're coming across the middle of the table like that with a deep ball, the rail first is very difficult to judge. And he's got such a clear side of the table to play the 2-6. I like him elevating here. He's playing the rail first. Well, initially he was. I bet he goes to elevating cue. Yeah, that's what I like. Especially with such a clear side of the table. All he's got to do is get out here. Figures to get a shot. Well, he's got a kiss shot on the 6, which is very playable. Wouldn't be too upset about that. I think you can knock the 2 between the 7-10 around a couple rails back in front of him, you know what I mean? And play the 6. Thing is, you got to play kind of slowly onto the 6. You want to hit the 2 nice and heavy.
Just like that. He's going to come up a little.
He's going to get a shot. Surprised he played it cutting the 6 so much and the 2 so much, but it's kind of your preference there, I guess, George, on how you want to play the kiss shot and what you think is going to come about on the 2 next.
Well, the good thing is he can just roll forward for position on the 4 in the side pocket.
And he's got to pocket this ball in the corner, though, so it's all about cueing right here. Well, table's playing a little easy here in day 1. The new bed, new felt on the bed.
Five ball in the same pocket, more likely. Jeremy lets me call those easy ones.
Sorry, I got wrapped up watching Kachi playing Shark just for a shot or 2.
It's okay. It's a good match going on over there.
Yeah, all great matches.
2-1. We got a lot of great players, folks. I think I have a little stat that's kind of interesting. What did I do with it? There's a number of 800 and above Fargo rated players.
RUIZ. To extend back to 2-game lead, it is a race to 8.
Here we go. We have 41 of the top 100 players in Fargo and 20 over 800. Seven-year-old, 4-2, excuse me. Sanchez RUIZ to break the balls at 4-2. We are at the Predator World 10-Ball Championships. It's part of the CueSports International Expo. Breaking back in the same place. Goes nothing. There was 2 ball. No
ball on the side, I believe. One flew in the side right after the break. The 8 ball, I think.
Yeah, the 8 ball's not on the table, so it's gone.
And he's got a 1-9 combo that I don't think he can pass up. He's got to shoot at this. He's got to kind of ease it a little bit. If he wasn't jacked up, he may spin it in, like throw the one in a little. But hard for him to pass up on this combo, I think, anyways, George.
He's measuring it. RUIZ is now up 8-0.
That's over. 8-0 ends the match. Played pretty well, too. I got to watch a lot of it. A little bit of it.
Oh, yes, it did at the very end.
Yeah, I thought he had to ease it quite a bit more, not only just to hold the cue ball, but although he did catch the 9 thick, that's why the 1's so far up. If he had caught the 9 a little cleaner to the hole, the 1 would be closer to the top rail. But again, the type of shot, you got to jump something that's close, but you have to go far with the cue ball. Easy to have this ball curve on you a little bit if you miss hit it just a hair. It starts getting on the bed of the felt, you know, after it jumps, and it'll have a little curve spin on it. So.
Those are hard to hit dead center, so it doesn't do that.
Yeah, it's just like any cueing.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't.
Elevation.
Well, just any of them really. A lot of people don't realize how often the best players in the world miss hit the cue ball just a little bit. It's like once or twice a rack. It's just that they do so many other things so well that it allows a little bit of a miss hit on the ball. You know, their timing is real good. It's not like they miss hit a lot.
Right.
I'm talking about, you know, quarter tip and stuff like that. But when the cue's more level, you have a little more room for error to miss hit the cue ball. But when you're jacked up, swerving the ball, jumping, it's going to curve on you. And he's got to pay attention that the 10 does not win. So he's got to hold the 2. The 7, does it come into play at all, George? With the cue ball, I mean?
I don't think he can avoid hitting it. It's real tight. He drew away from it.
Yeah.
Good job.
He was worried about it.
Yep. So he had a little more speed and he drew away from it.
And that's funny that because the way he shot it, the 2's hardly ever coming up the side rail with the cue ball. He had to hit the 2 onto the 10 perfect. Was he trying to make them both? That's what I think. To where he had shape on the 3. That's what makes sense the most. Why he would shoot it the way he did.
Well,
good speed on the cue ball, but
I'm thinking if he just didn't feel he could predict where the 2 ball was going, so he could have rolled it.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
He'd hit it easy, you know. And I guess the only thing worried about easy was the 7 ball. You know, he's worried about maybe bumping it, get behind it, on top of it. What do you do here? Use the 3-4? I think he's going to put the 2 on the right side rail and come into the 6 for the cue ball. That looks natural to me. Yeah, kind of like that. It's a shot you have to learn. A lot of times it's a soft safety, but if you get good at it, you can get the snooker.
I just learned it.
Well, you've shot it before. It's a half ball hit. It comes up a lot of times, and we talked about it the other day. If you want to get better at the shot, imagine both balls kind of moving at the same pace after they hit each other.
Okay.
When they split apart, that being the cue ball and the 2.
And they come up to about the same spot on the side rails.
They do, and they settle at about the same time also. So that'll give you a good feeling on how to get that shot down. And that usually, constitutes a half ball hit on the other ball.
Kicking at this ball with spin.
I almost made it.
Wow. Pretty accurate on his kicks. He fired at that one in the side pocket. He fired at another one. Hit it, but didn't make it. He made the first one.
Yeah, he may have cut him off the cut here, and if he did, you may see Ruiz play this bank back underneath him where he's standing in the corner pocket and drag the cue ball up the table. Yeah, that's the shot that I initially saw, because from this angle, we talked about it the other day, George. Very hard to hang the object ball. It usually either wants to go, especially on the TV table, or it gets away from the pocket. Oh, he caught the 7, so that's a huge mistake there. I'm not going to be happy. Or let's say an unforced error. It's not a huge mistake. But Ruiz has been up 2 games 2 different times. Can't quite get that 3rd game. And it's been on his break as well.
He's going to get this 3rd game. They're laying pretty good for him. Once he's on that 6 ball, there's no excuses. You know, one thing about both these young guys, I don't see any nerves whatsoever.
Well, they're good at hiding them. I'm not saying they're overly nervous, but just the kind of competition nerves you have. But one thing I see, these are what I call prepared nerves. Prepared nerves can make you play really, when you're prepared for the match, or the tournament and all that, your nerves can make you really play great.
Sure, I totally agree that. Prepared nerves, performance nerves.
unprepared nerves. I talk about those, and you can really shank one from anywhere.
Yeah.
If you're not prepared, and the nerves get going. He's gotten off this twice.
Well, the clock went off. What was wrong?
A little early.
Yeah. JUSZCZYSZYN to break the balls. And 3-4, first round match.
Oh, open hand bridge here now. So probably a little more pop. Not as much speed. Yeah, that's usually when you go that open hand bridge. It's not going to unload on the rack.
7 ball went straight for the side pocket.
Yeah, likes those results. A little cluster on the 2, but shouldn't be too much of a problem. Now, from what I can see, it'll really help the racket, I think anyways, if the 4 passes the 9 all the way up. Looks like it does. Just something tells me with the 2 the way it is, it's playable, but the 3 so near, you may end up having to play the 4 all the way by the 9 up in the top right corner.
Okay.
A few shots. Good to have that available now. He's going to bump
over.
the 3.
Yep, now he has to bump it. Uh-oh.
This is a funny bump, though. If he can hit it with a rolling stroke, that would be exactly what he wants. If he's got a stun into it, watch out 6. Okay, he could spin it with a lot of side spin to catch the 2 a little heavier. That helped.
Let's see if he just runs it. He's looking at it.
Goes easily. Use a little bit of the rail the way the table's playing. Go behind it, so that makes it missable.
Yes, but it does give him an angle to go straight over for the 5 in the lower corner. Where he's at.
Yeah, but I think he wanted to be straight, just draw back for the 5 on the side. You know what I'm saying? So. This is touchy, and I think it does make the 4, you know, 5 to 10% more missable. That's why, right? Oof, ball slid in.
Well, you said it would. He could use the rail.
Yeah,
he did. He used a lot of it.
You can, but usually you want to use the rail when you're straight in and you're facing the rail. You can be very accurate. when you have to cut it back,
Yeah.
you tend to want to just use the pocket more.
By the end of the week, that shot might hang out.
That's right. It's close enough here to just pinch it, hold it. Conrad's a tough player. Another one of those guys you really don't feel like he's doing a whole lot to you, but he just keeps winning games.
He's got these 4 balls to tie it up.
All right, looks like he's going by the 9, so probably put a little extra into this. That way, if he catches the 9, okay, he did catch it, but he got by it.
I think it was the body English.
Yeah, that's international.
Looking good here for this rack.
Keeping the heat on the Spaniard.
We lost our audience here.
No, there's no break this time. No
Didn't
break this
clap
time.
for that last game.
After the next round.
Either way, Sanchez RUIZ will be breaking the balls, tied at 4. He had a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, 4-2 lead. Never could get the 3rd game ahead.
No, he couldn't.
Had a lot to do with Conrad.
That's a good question. Probably. John Lehman racking the balls with the Predator triangle rack on this diamond table, covered with Predator cloth. Is that Masato Yoshioka up on right there with on his phone, right behind Conrad? Looks like it. Go. 9th game. Break the tie. 8 ball.
He's had no problem making balls in the break, that's for sure.
Nice spread too. With the exception of the 9, it looks really nice.
Yeah, the 9's actually not too bad. I think it's playable from, you know, the angle the 5's on. Get the cue ball in that angle somewhere around in there. So I do believe the 2 passes. And the good thing for him is doesn't have to get like to where he has to move the cue ball shooting a tight 2 ball here. The 3's hanging up in the other corner, so that's a blessing for RUIZ if the 2 is as tight as we think. Perfect position there. Yeah, it's just pretty easy. 9-10 maybe the toughest of what he has here in game number 9. He'll just chip this in. Another one of those shots. Come back to where you're at with the cue ball.
How many players would like to have that break every time?
Right. He's running out of go as well. Now he'll start sizing up the 9, I think, a little bit anyways. Or at least there must not be really any problem with it.
He glanced at it at the opening of the rack. And from this angle that we're seeing, looks pretty good. This is our last match of the evening. Okay.
No, he can't go forward. Can he draw his ball? Or can he go forward by the 9?
I don't think he can go. I think he can.
Can
It's
he-
tight.
can
I
he
think
not-
he'll draw the ball,
Yeah,
but he's got to worry about that side pocket.
That's what happened. Kind of let up on the
Yeah.
stroke right there. It's the most common thing, really, especially at this level.
It's a nice straight back.
Yeah, but real hard to get position.
Yeah, it is. It's Unless he comes all the way down and plays the 9 in the
please.
corner where the 7 is, or the side if it goes by the 10.
Cut.
Yeah,
To be honest
so
with you, I think he's cutting this ball and going at the 9-10 with the cue ball. Table's playing soft, so it'll change as the days go. It did in the diamond. See that? See where he caught that ball?
Sure.
I think he's going to get a friendly bump. Maybe not.
John's on top of it. He's going to go out there and stand and take a good look at it. He's not happy. SANCHEZ recently was not happy with the shot. He was standing there glaring at it.
That's a great camera view. He may be able to slide it in there with a ton of left spin and make that ball, but it's questionable, that's for sure.
This is one of those shots that could be called either way. Oh, he didn't even try to make it. Smart shot.
Time's going to come up a little, though. So Conrad will be forced to shoot at this.
Attention, please.
Big lower left corner pocket. To make this ball, do you have a tendency of using a little bit of outside or left-hand English?
Left English? Not a whole lot from that distance myself, but he hit it beautiful. He really trusts his aiming while getting down on the ball, which I love personally. I think that's when you're supposed to do 90% of your aiming. When you're down, you're just kind of checking your work. Beautiful low English, maybe a hair of outside to throw the 10 towards that corner pocket. First lead of the match.
And at 5-4, Conrad JUSZCZYSZYN to break the balls.
RUIZ back. Now in the green. Well, he hadn't been in this position yet. Didn't break the balls with the lead. Always trailed.
He's reeled up 3 games in a row to get that lead. Check the cue ball real nice, but it looks like nothing's going to go.
Notice the 10 moving a little bit more, right?
Yes.
Earlier when we saw the 10 not moving hardly at all in the first couple matches here on the TV table. That was a really pouring event.
Yeah, it's funny when the 10 doesn't move, the front ball behind the spot, the one ball go towards the sides, and the two corners go for rails.
RUIZ now down again. Perfect scenario on his opponent's break. Get over the 5. Let's see. Looking a little so-so-ish and out in the middle of the table and pretty straight. So
not much to do there except pocket the ball. So.
Well, yeah, he can't go forward because of the 7. He can't dig on the cue ball because of the stretch, I think.
Is he going to play safe behind the 7?
That's not a bad idea.
Attention, please.
What he's trying to see is if he rolls this in and goes into the 7, like what's he going to get? He'll get a shot on the 3, but he may be on the rail straight in and not be able to get on the 4. So
I think you go all out and play safe behind the 7. Because you're going to cut the 2 real thin, and it's going to go up towards the 10. And he probably won't even make the 10. He's going to hit it so soft. He's going for it.
Yeah, I don't.
No, there's no. That angle really tells me he's got to pocket the ball and work on the 3. Oh no, he went behind the 7.
That's the safety you were talking about.
Yeah.
A real nice one.
Got it just right. He cuts off the side rail on the right by putting him on the inside of the 7. Yeah. The 2 railers cut off by the 10.
You can go between the 3 and 9. There's just enough room. I'm looking down the barrel. Maybe wrap the corner and get to the left side rail below the 7 and just tap this 2. But I would rather tie a ball up if I could.
Yeah, that's about the only hit is to wrap it around and hit the left side rail before the 2.
Yeah, right below the 7 with the cue ball. It's the only thing I really see that's an option. And he's got to put a lot of side spin on that. And the problem is he's up against the ball to put side spin. He's going to try and move the 7 on top of the 8. Good effort. All he had, really realistic. No, that was realistic.
It was, it's a nice shot just to recognize that, because that was about all he had. Well, Conrad had the lead. I don't think he's going to hold on to it. But there's a lot of work here still.
Yeah, for sure. Just here in the last game or 2, we saw just a couple of mistakes from RUIZ that we didn't see early. So I wouldn't say these are fail-proof, but these are sitting pretty nice, especially once he gets good on the 5. Everything is pretty natural near each other. Kind of just letting the cue ball draw a little bit there. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened to him twice. Overran position.
Should be okay here.
Yeah, it just makes it a little bit more of a missable ball. Don't expect that. But
like you say, he's just got to use his talent.
that's right. Probably something that has brought RUIZ a long ways is that straight shooting.
Yeah.
Don't ever lose that.
Well, that's along the lines of Shane too. He'll end up with shape like that sometimes, and just not worry about the shot.
Side. It's a little funny. He could get a little thin if he comes on what is our right side of the 10. He probably cues us with a little inside English. Oh, he went by it. Okay. I knew he could. Just a matter of preference.
Looking good to tie it up and stop that 3 in a row from Conrad. John's cleaned the cue ball. Remember the match with Junling Chang. Doing the same. And then was asked to clean it by the player. Racking him with that unique Predator triangle rack. Conrad looking up at the screen. We have screens on both sides of the arena the players can look at. And he's just looking at himself on the screen. Saying, what am I doing up there? Maintaining his focus. Conrad, a 780 Fargo player. Mr. Sanchez RUIZ, an 815.
No problems pocketing balls in the break with RUIZ. He's got a pocket, I think.
Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like the ball goes right by the 3.
They elevate here, draw the cue ball back to get a little better on the 2. And what Fargo is Shane again?
Shane is an 829. Okay. Shane and Filler are the 2 highest Fargo rated players in the world at 829.
Well, 10 points must mean a lot then, huh?
10 points is not that much. At this level, it's not that much at all. At about 30 to 35 points, Fargo says you can give your opponent a game on the wire in a race stage.
I asked because RUIZ is a great player, but felt like 10 points wasn't much difference between him and Shane, but I mean,
it's almost 14 points.
Yeah,
that's not too much difference, but
well, if you look at their trophy case, there would be a huge difference.
Yeah.
So,
well, Shane's had that 823 to 829 Fargo for a long time. This young man was in the 700s not long ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why I said he's come a long way. I think last year, or the year before, last year I believe, when the little bit I've seen of him, within the last year and a half, he's come up 15 points, which means he's been playing tough competition and winning.
Sizing up how to get from the 4 to the 5. It's not so much I'm getting on the 4. But then again, also, he doesn't want to have to contend with the 10 ball. Get from the 5 to the 6. We've overran this a little bit. This is going to start to get tricky. I think anyways, the camera can fool us, but like I said, he doesn't want to have to worry about the 10 ball or involve the 10 ball getting on the 6 from the 5 to the 6.
Thanks. Attention, please.
Now he's looking at coming all the way down table. Or maybe a 5 inside. Maybe a 5-10 combo to continue the run on the 5 afterwards. Oh, he's going to come across the table with a lot of high inside, high left English, all the way down for the 5. He could trap himself even worse here if he ends up short. If he ends up way short here, he could be in big trouble. Okay, got that nice little bounce, so I think he may be able to go by the 10 and still get to the underneath side of the 6, somewhere where the cue ball's at now. Well, he's not looking at the side, so he may be playing safe. That's not going to get a rail, is it?
It might. It did.
Maybe a little nerves flowing at 5-5.
I made a good point, Jeremy, so I did a little research. Sanchez RUIZ is an 815 with 6,900 games robustness, which means he's played 6,900 games with Fargo.
Right.
Shane Van Boning is 829 with 16,858 games, almost about 2.5 times more games than he has. So, and Shane's been at that high level for a long time. In fact, until just recently did Filler catch him and I think for one day was at 829, and Shane was at 828. It changes. So.
Tough shot here. This is where your cueing really comes in. Nice shot with the straight shooter.
You were talking about upside earlier. Those numbers are saying that he positively has a good upside. He's still coming up.
Oh. Well, I'm sure it's hard to climb once you get so high.
The climb is much slower.
Yeah, because he's been a top 10 to 15 European, top 15 European for some time now. Good 7 years probably, something like that.
For the lead. JUSZCZYSZYN to break the balls, trailing 5 games to 6 in his first round of the Predator World 10-Ball Championship. At the Rio All Suites Hotel and Casino at the CueSports International Expo for 2021. 2022 will be in March. This expo will be here in March 2022. And the Pro Billiard Series events will enter players into that World 10 Ball. 5 events.
I was immediately looking at trying to really put them behind the 8 here, using the 4 and 5 as well. I think, anyways.
I like the shot.
Yeah, and you can play whatever thickness you want really on this, and then oh, he played cut. Excuse me.
I kind of like the shot up because he'd be right up against that 8 ball.
Well, I like the cuts. I like to be aggressive. I just didn't realize it was available. Especially the 4-5s, very, not good. The kiss shot on the 5 is playable. Could maybe get into them balls right here off the 3. We'll see.
You know, one of the things I was just thinking of.
Great shot. Great shot.
Is I haven't even seen an attempt at a 3 foul.
Well,
these guys play so good that it's so hard to prove.
Yeah, it's a rare occasion. They're so good that, you know, the layout of the situation has to be really ideal.
Gotta have clusters and cover.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure do.
Well, no one's out of this match. The game here ties it up at 6, and we're 2 away from the end of it. Anything can happen in 2 games. In fact, anything can happen in the next 3 for Conrad. Like that.
Okay. Barely got there, but he's all right.
I didn't think he was going to roll up. I thought he was straight across it.
Yeah, just barely got above it. So anytime they're close, these guys can be so accurate. You don't expect them to miss these. Just get a little straight-ish on the 8, but the 9's pretty playable in a lot of places. So
He doesn't do too much
it's
to
a
it.
little bit outside the pocket, though. You know, he may end up having to shoot it and go up and down off the 9 to the 10. That's how thin it is. You know what I'm saying? Even now where he got the cue ball at, you may not want to spin this in with a lot of outside English, George, especially on a table that deflects a lot with the new bed.
Just go up to kind of on the line where the cue ball is now and come back.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think there's any problem with that at all.
Yep.
The thinness of the cut shot really moved the cue ball easily, you know, so. And it was natural, right? That's
Yes,
kind of what the
exactly.
shot wanted it to do. So anytime you can stick with what wants to happen, you're going to be pretty successful.
And we're tied at 6. But Sanchez RUIZ will be breaking anytime the score's even. So even though he breaks here, and if they go to 7-7, Conrad's successful on his break, he'll be breaking for the match on the hill. Big advantage of winning the break, winning the lag on alternate break tournaments, matches. Just want to check something real quick with Masato Yoshioka being there. Who plays the winner of this match? Sanchez RUIZ is to break, and will be breaking. The winner of this match will meet either Warren Kiamko or Ruslan Chinahov. And they're tied at 5-6. Chinahov leading 6-5.
Was up 6-2, I believe. So Warren's rattled off 3 in a row.
Plus, he named the Warrior.
Maybe our first dry break by RUIZ at like the most wrong time in this match he could imagine. And a perfect setup on the 1. I think he's got a little angle. Well, maybe not, but still a nice shot on the 1. The 2's open. Getting on the 2 to get good on the 3's important.
It's funny how you're running along. You've been pretty much very successful the whole match, and get down to the really important, well, 1 break before the end of the rack.
Could be the
End of
last
match.
break.
Yeah, because you can close this out and break and run his own, and it's done.
Yeah, that looks pretty nice there. He wants to drop below the 10 when he shoots the 3. Doesn't want to have to fool with the 7 getting on the 4. Not saying he can't, but he could end up on top of the 4 if he had to run into the 7 when shooting the 3. So got to kind of kill his ball a little bit here. With a light stroke or a little bit of tip position. Really light stroke.
Okay. Nicely done.
Oh, very. All right, so from here the works from the 6 to the 7 back for the 8. These next 3 shouldn't be a problem. It's lefty, so I don't know if he can reach over and get to that one though. He may have to come from the in rail.
Well, as a fellow lefty, I'm going to go out and say being left-handed is an advantage. Of course, you're going to disagree and say I can have the 7 out, right?
What do you mean it's advantage? On that side of the table, you mean? Or just being
no.
lefty, period?
Being lefty, period.
You and my wife both say the same thing.
I grew up with it, and I've seen it as an advantage all my life.
In what manner, though?
Hand-eye coordination. It's just, I don't think it has anything to do with being left-handed. But, you know, I've always heard left-handers think with the right side of the ring, which is more creative. No, actually, no. It's more mathematical, geography, angles, geology. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the opposite.
No. Artistic is more for the left side of the brain, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken.
Yeah, I always
But
told that the lefties, the righties are more of a consistent type of mentality, constant mentality, you might say. So could be wrong, definitely.
Oh yeah.
We've all heard
different things.
Yeah.
Depends where you get your information.
Looks like he's going rail first. Missable ball rail first. I doubt it, but.
Nicely done. Come right around.
So now RUIZ, who's been ahead this entire match for the most part, did trail by 5 to 4, I believe it was. But
he's about to trail at a very inopportune time.
It's fast, I'll tell you. Boy, he just barely flicked it in. 7 feet down the table.
JUSZCZYSZYN to break the balls. 7-6. He can end the match with this break and run. Can't end it on the break. He's going to have to work through it and earn it. Break is important.
Yeah, he's had a pretty consistent speed on the break the last 4 or 5. That's the same one. Ooh, awful just on the cue ball. One's not going to get up for a playable cut. There is a bank. It's playable.
I was going to ask you, you're on the hill. You have this bank shot. Do you go for it? It's probably going to give you shape on the 3.
I mean, maybe, I guess, but I mean, does a 3 go anywhere?
In the left-hand corner?
Doesn't you can't make the bank and
hold that there?
I don't think so. I think he called it, but oh my, he's going to need some help here.
He's going to get it.
Yeah, well, he needed it, that's for sure.
And rolled right into position behind the 9-ball.
Yeah. And that's why the call shot rules to me are very difficult. A little bit of luck there, you know, the way everything turned out, and now RUIZ has to go into a pile of balls off of a kick shot and try and call something. So it's a tough proposition. I think one foul is just a little difficult to be playing call shot, especially when most of the luck is with things like this.
Yes.
And with misses. It's not really with fluking balls in that much. Where do you kick? What do you call? What do you do? The one may go between the 6-10. That's about all you got.
That's all you can really call. More than likely, you're trying to play safe and hit the top of the 1.
I don't think he can roll this. He's got too many ways to foul if he rolls this. The 1 could go into the 6 and not get a rail. It could cut and not get a rail. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's got to put speed on this, Jordan.
I think he's going to put speed on it.
Well,
No. Look at this.
Work out. Cross side bank. No, he's going here. I think the 9 definitely is out of the way for the bank. 100%. I don't think he's backing off of this. I mean, this is the game winner, isn't it?
Yes, it is. If he gets on that 3-ball.
He may not call it. He may not call it. No, he didn't. So that tells me maybe the 9 was a little in the way.
Boy, that safety was much easier than the risk.
Yeah, but the risk is what makes him play the game, George.
And the risk will, well, if you make it, the risk could win you the game. So could this, though.
Oh, absolutely. He's done real well with it. Got to hustle a little bit, I think. Doing a lot of measuring. He's still got to execute within the next couple of seconds. He's going to give up all in hand, so good choice for Conrad. Now just, he's still got some work. You can see a lot of congestion by the 6, 7, 9, 8, and 10. So got to get on the 3 to start. We'll probably come between the 4-3 with the cue ball over for the 3 in the side on the bottom of your screen. I think. Ooh, big mistake. Huge mistake. Big time. Wow. Wow. Didn't expect that. Now he's got to be very careful on this next shot. He's got to shake that off. He's using his extension, so.
Cut it thin and try to get behind the 8.
I like floating it over the 9 and get behind the 10.
Oh, okay, with the cue ball?
I think, anyways.
Oh,
what a
my.
shot. What a shot. I tell you, you got to give it to him there after making a huge blunder with ball in hand, right? I mean, to recoup like that. I love seeing when they shoot at their pocket, George.
And he's doing a good job of it. And from right here, he's odds-on favorite to get out.
Okay, do you draw this out a little bit to take an angle to run the cue ball on the 5, or do you just get heavy on the 5 to draw back?
I'm just going to come off the rail real soft and play the 5 on the corner, and get right there, and now go for the 6.
And then draw back off the 5.
And just draw back off the 5.
Doesn't need to get really close to the 6, but doesn't want to get extreme. So it doesn't want to get like perfectly straight. He won't get there anyways, but doesn't want to get a ton of angle. Somewhere in the middle. I don't think he can get hooked here, so all about just not missing. I don't think he can get behind the 9 or the 10 with the high ball.
He's going to go to the left side. Oh, what did he just do there?
Didn't get through it. He let up on it a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, it's because he babied the ball a little. I think that's why he got the kick a little.
Yeah, with that high English, he should have come straight up right between the 9-10 for the 8.
Yeah,
he's
sitting good to pinch him back on the 10, though, I think.
Two-way? Or just go safe all the way?
Yeah, he's not going to do that. He's putting the 8 on. Oh, he's cutting it.
Missed it.
He cut it a lot. Is this 8 going to agree? It's okay. Wow, big turn of events here.
Oh, yeah. But looked to be a very easy out. It looked like maybe they could have skidded.
Well, after it did kick a little bit.
Did it?
But I think that one was a little more stroke-induced kick, letting up on it a little bit.
I'll agree with that. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
All right, I think he's got to either kill it or come past the 9 because the 9 didn't go by the 10.
Big break for Sanchez Ruiz. Now it's just a matter of pocketing this. Well, do you take this in the corner or do you play it in the side?
I think he's got to go side pocket myself. He likes to shoot this, drawing it to the side rail with a lot of right English and then letting it hit the end rail and straighten out and come towards the 10 cue ball. I think.
We're going to see that hill, and we're going to have the Sanchez Ruiz breaking for it, breaking for the game, for the match.
I'm really surprised.
Wow, that's a big. He's going to dream about that shot. John's racking the balls here. You can see his eyes. Oh, you can see the pain in his eyes. He hasn't looked like that in the whole match.
Yeah, probably just.
He knows what happened there was just. If it was a skid, it was the way he stroked the ball.
I think so.
Yeah, that sure looked like it.
Because when he first shot it, I wasn't so sure that was going to be enough speed to get back up where he wanted. There's no. I mean, short was the only option that was a bad one.
Yeah,
so.
And then you overcut the 8.
Yeah, the 8 was a missable ball, though.
Yes, it was.
I didn't even think he was shooting at it when he was cueing. I thought he was just knocking it to the end rail and coming 2 rails behind the 10.
I thought he might just make it the side, and he didn't. And putting the cue ball where he could have the 9 next, or up against the 10.
A little friendly fist bump between the 2 competitors.
Sanchez Ruiz knows that he's fortunate to be breaking.
Well, his last break was his only dry break that I recall. So I don't want to change that. Even though I wouldn't change a thing. He's had a great success on the breaking ball.
He started the match with a breaking run, if I remember correctly.
Still don't hear anything hit the hole.
Here goes the 7.
It better go. It's going to get there.
No, it's gonna. The rail's going to stop it.
Oh my! So Conrad with a beautiful angle to fall down here on the bottom rail for the 2 with no worries. How many are over the pocket here? He's got the 8 over the pocket, the 6 is near, the 7's hanging, the 3 and the 4 aren't hard. It's really about the 4 to the 5, it looks like. This is perfect, right? Yeah. This is perfect to come to the side.
The 4 to the 5, and right now to the 2.
Yeah, this is natural. You cannot, besides missing the 1, you cannot not get shape.
Yeah.
Now he got a little thinner than he may have wanted, so may have to ease this in for the 3 in the upper right corner by the 6. Could come out to the side. He could get on the wrong side of the 3 if he does that. That's what he's going to do. He's going to get on the wrong side of the 3.
Yeah, problems.
Yeah, well,
actually,
just shoot it from a little. Yeah, shoot it from a little further away, but
take a little harder shot on the 4.
Yeah, just cueing now. You don't want to get awkward over the 9. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
yes. Or the 10. Yeah. And you don't want to try and come between them or even around the 5 because it can come down close to that 7 ball.
Yeah, I think he got a little awkward.
Nothing simple on the at the end, is it?
Well, the funny thing is he looked for the 3 in the corner initially when he got on the 2, but then he changed his mind.
Yeah, like that.
He got clear of this 9 ball. But where do you go now with
do you try to go underneath the 9 and get the 5-7 combo?
I don't mind it.
Yeah,
I don't mind it.
I don't like going to the right side. I like this.
He better have perfect speed here. He's going to get a friendly bump on the 10. It looks like anyways. He did. 10 just settled. So
Ouch.
I think that was a gamble right there, the route he went, George.
Uh-huh.
I know we're in
I
Vegas.
totally agree. But the slot machine hit.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but I think something could have went wrong.
Yeah, avoiding a bad cueing here where it might skid again.
Now, is the 7 to the 8 any kind of funny? He would love to be on the bottom cushion shooting the 7. That takes you naturally up towards the 8 with no worries. So has he put a lot into this, or is he just...
He's not doing much. He's not in the bottom.
Well, the 7's deep, though.
Well,
I don't think there's going to be a problem, but he's got to come up the table, so...
I'd like to be at the first diamond just before the side pocket on the rail.
I think he's coming for the 8 and the side. 100%, I think he's coming for the 8 and the side. And see, he had to draw out of that ball from that angle because
Okay.
it was so,
So
deep,
deep, okay.
and near the point. You know, the cue ball could stall, right, coming out of there if you try to hit a high ball.
Well, it looks like he's
perfect. He can cheat
yeah.
the pocket
Oh yeah.
here.
He just barely hit. Just wow. These 2 balls for the match.
Yeah, and it's only the first round, but you want to stay on that winner's side, that's for sure. Conrad, they both played great. I think that even though it's going to take a loss for RUIZ, he should just keep doing what he's doing. We'll be back at 11 a.m. Pacific tomorrow. Great matches.